Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to week 6 of LIT 2000. Excuse me. We're going to be taking a walk through as usual. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I see that I have many, I hope, amazing poetry papers to look forward to. So you will be getting feedback on those probably fairly late in the week. One of the ways that I have structured this particular class means that you do not have another paper due right away. And so I can take a little more time with them, but you'll be getting feedback on those in the not so distant future. In the meantime, if you have any questions about them, let me know, or questions about anything that is coming up. We are, as I mentioned, in week 6, so we're entering kind of the second third of the course for you mathematicians, and you've already started with fiction, and we are continuing with fiction. So this week, the content and the assignment line up. Last week you had reading fiction while writing about poetry, but we are in the hardcore fiction section now. And we're not only going to be doing these 3 weeks of short fiction, but we're going to then be transitioning into the novels. And I talked a little bit about that last time. I really kind of designed this to where you will have spring break to finish reading your novel if you've not already done so. And then the novel presentation and the paper are due the week after spring break. So it's kind of going to lead us through the whole thing. But I do think it's a good idea to start reading the novel now. Some of us read faster than others, of course. And if you know that you're a fast reader, you may not have to, but it's a good idea. Novels are a time commitment. I'm currently reading a novel that's like 500 pages long, and I always kind of overestimate how much I've read when I stop reading for the day. I'm like, you read 10 pages. You're not gonna make a lot of headway this way. So I do recommend maybe setting aside, even if it's just a half an hour, to read each day. And if you do that, especially with the novels, you will I have no doubt be able to finish them on time. So anyway, that's what's going on. And we're going to be reading some additional works of short fiction this week, and you're going to be writing a discussion board. So let's go transition to the modules. And that way I can also turn on the student view. All right, so we are done with good old week 5, and we are in week 6. In terms of what we're doing this week, not a lot of change from last week. We are going to be thinking and writing about the formal elements of a short story. And of course, hopefully getting some bonus points by commenting on each other's posts. And then we're going to sort of begin planning for the next formal writing assignment. For the materials this week and activities, you've got a link, of course, to the LIP guide, and the stories that are assigned for this week are Flannery O'Connor's A Good Man is Hard to Find, William Faulkner's A Rose for Emily, which many of you might have read before. These are pretty common short stories. Good Man is Hard to Find too. Alice Walker's Everyday Use, and then Jhumpa Lahiri's story entitled Interpretive Maladies. All 3 of the first stories here are from what I kind of personally specialized in grad school, which is Southern Lit. Flannery O'Connor and William Faulkner are sort of contemporaries with each other from early 20th century to mid 20th century. And so they are well-known authors that actually have some similarities. And then Alice Walker is still an active writer. She is also known for writing The Color Purple, the novel. But Everyday Use is one of her short stories. It's a good one. It's one of my favorites. And I love Jhumpa Lahiri. This particular story, Interpretive Maladies, I really find enjoyable, and I hope that you guys do as well. In videos This week I've got 3 for you. It does focus on the Southern Lit to begin with, but then we have an interview with the author of Interpreter of Maladies. So these will help specifically with the readings that you are working on there. And then we have the assigned discussion board. You can, of course, talk about any of the stories, ask questions, and make observations on the Q&A discussion board. But this week we have a graded discussion board, and it's kind of screenshot here for you. Both Kate Chopin's The Story of an Hour and Ernest Hemingway's Cat in the Rain are very short stories. These were from last week. Choose one of them to focus on in this discussion. And then for this one, this is more of a creative writing than an analytical piece of writing. And so I want to challenge you to retell the story from a different character's perspective. The Story of an Hour is clearly focused on the main character. Even though it's written in third person, it's really kind of through her perspective. And the same with Cat in the Rain. We have a third person narrator, but it's very focused on the wife. And so in Chopin, you're going to choose one of these 3 to tell the story from. Mr. Millard, the husband, Mr. Millard's sister, who's present at the apartment, and then, of course, the friend who came to deliver the news. He's kind of a wild card. You can have some fun with that because he's not really represented that much in the story, but kind of an interesting way to look at it. And then if you choose the Hemingway story, instead of the wife, you're going to focus on either the husband, the maid, or the hotel keeper. Any of those will work. Make sure that you view this video because it goes over the assignment a little bit more in depth and previews things that are coming up. And then when you are ready, of course, you will click on the actual discussion board and post your story there. So I hope everybody had a great weekend. If you are not a Chiefs fan, I don't know why, but yay for some of us. And I will see you next Monday for sure. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, don't forget to hesitate. Don't hesitate. Don't forget to hesitate. That would be not as good. But do reach out. There we go. Short, sweet, and to the point. Do reach out. And I look forward to reading those poetry papers. So everybody take care. Keep an eye on your grade books.